Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell you, the man. Welcome, 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 folks. Uh,
Black folk.
that's
Black
all I can
folk
say.
empowerment.
We try to be on time, but you know how it is when you
I
dealing
will.
with
I will
CP,
freely admit
you
it was me. It was me. I had to
you
do some
dealing with
research with the
CPT folks.
technology. Had to make sure that it was
Uh,
good. You know what I'm saying? But after this, we gonna be good to go. Y'all know we
oh
working.
yeah. All
Oh,
right. Okay.
so you don't believe me? You don't believe me? Oh, it's like that. It's like that. That's how.
Yes.
That's how we doing the show today. That. All right. I got you. Bring that
So,
smoke. Bring that smoke right
you
on over.
know.
Right on over here. Yes.
Oh my God, Adam, look, look, there is Natalie. Oh my goodness,
What's
Natalie
up,
said,
Natalie?
"Boo boo." No, I'm just kidding. Hey, shout out to Natalie. You know, those of you all who may not have followed Unique Perspectives Love Talk Radio for a little bit now. Natalie, myself, Adam Ford, and Miss Rhonda Jordan were the original OGs of the show. The four of us.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
man.
we when we were in the radio station physically in Chicago, we used to hold it down. Appreciate
Yeah.
the
We hold
support,
it down,
Natalie. We got to get hey Natalie, whenever whenever you're off of tour, just let us know and we can just have you on the
world
show.
tour. Right. Right.
Anyway,
Right.
yes. No, I'm just kidding. But no,
I kind of
appreciate
miss
it.
them.
Anyway, huh?
I said I kind of miss them. I kind of miss them. It's been a minute
Yes.
since I've seen them. We need to catch up with them.
Yeah, for sure. Now he's all distracted. He's late and distracted. But anyway, all right. All right. Let's take it official. Welcome to Unique Perspectives Love Talks Radio. I'm your host, Charles Dixon. I'm here with Mr. Adam Ford.
What's up, fam?
And we are here to
We need some
do
music to
as we
start
do.
the show off right. We need some music. We need an introduction. Anybody know anybody? I know I'm so off script right now. It's not even funny.
Uh, you know,
It's gonna be one of them kind of
well,
shows. All
you somebody Google uh, ghetto co-host. It's
right.
gonna come up. His face is gonna come up in there. Ghetto co-host. Lord have mercy. All right, all right, all right, all right. So let's get we like to just get right on to it, Mr. Ford. All right. So today we are talking about with what most people that are legitimately in the single crawl today. I say crawl, say that literally. That's in
Right.
the single crawl today. They are probably saying, "Oh, this is too much. I can't do it. This is too crazy." You know, all of the things that's happening that we see either trending on social media, we hear about, we hear about in the tabloids, we see with it doesn't miss anyone. It doesn't matter if you're a superstar, doesn't matter if you're an athlete, actor. Dating woes touches everybody.
Yeah.
So, so what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about dating 2.0,
Hmm.
love in the 21st century. The reason we thought about this is because if you think about your own, everybody has, at least for the most part, we most of us have smartphones. Each of your phones will let you go for a certain while, and then it's going to tell you, "Hey, new update available." And that's saying, hey, your phone is now going to a new level in terms of its technology capabilities.
True.
So in other words, if you want to keep up, you need to run this update so that you remain in the know of where all the capabilities for the thing you are paying for is doing. So
Right.
this is no different than it is in the dating world. There are some principles that hold true for life, right? There are just some things that you just do. Like one of them, one of the good things is you treat the folks like you want them to treat you, right? That's just a across the board type thing. But there are so many things that people did back then that would in no way fly today, and it would just leave you would just get circles ran around you if you tried it today. You know what I'm saying? So and so it is key to stay in the know with the trends of how things are, how things are going, so that you're not out here looking crazy on your search. You know, many of us people are out here. They're like, "Hey, I'm putting my bid in the hat," but they have no idea what they're bidding to. And as a result of that, they're being taken advantage of, the whole 9 yards. Now, I'm going to get into what I'm going to get into, but I do want to touch first on a current trend happening, Mr. Ford,
Yes,
where
sir.
I don't know if you saw it. I'd be willing to pay. You didn't see it, but anyway. There was this big trending thing in the last couple of weeks. It was a young lady. She was in a car. She was on a date, and I think the guy had made some arrangements at he had a bougie spot that he had arrangements for.
Okay.
Something happened with the arrangements. He couldn't get in there. I'm just paraphrasing. He couldn't get in there. So he pulled up at Cheesecake Factory.
Okay.
The lady in the car refused to get out the car. She was like, "No, you ain't bringing me to Cheesecake Factory. I am too good for this. What is it?" So as a result of it, the lady just kind of stood her ground. And the guy, he's all detested and dejected looking. And he's like, "Oh, well, this is what we're doing." Now, my own personal opinion, I think it was fake. But nonetheless, the concept still went on and on and on. People still took it and it ran from there. You got to recognize these skits when you see them. Now people are doing all these skits online. But, I mean, the concept was a good piece of a nugget to chew on, whether it was real or not. Because in the ensuing days after that, you saw this post trending around where it was, I'm not sure if it was like a group of women who did this or was one particular woman who did this. But in other words, they created this list. There's a list of places that you are not supposed to take people on the first date. And so I said to I said to myself, and I'm going to ask you, Mr. Ford, before we dive into this.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, okay, dating, I mean, you definitely want to put your best foot forward.
Right.
You definitely want to impress. But at the end of the day, the dating is really just about getting to know whether or not you want to continue.
Okay.
You want to basically, you meet up. That's why they call it a meet and greet. The meet and greet is to meet up to see if everybody looks like they say they do. You got some sense. You can hold a conversation, and if we can take this further, that's why people tend to sometimes meet at places that are soft meet and greet spots, like what's the coffee place? Starbucks, or what's the sandwich place? Panera Bread. Small little spots where that's not so intrusive for you to feel like if you're not happy about something, like you can't say, "Well, I'm gonna go ahead on and go home." But anyway, so you can't say something like that. So things happen. Let me tell you a quick funny story.
Oh, here we go. Y'all ready? Y'all ready?
Oh, gosh.
Y'all got another story for y'all.
I remember one time somebody called themselves catfishing me. What? I went to this, I purposely chose the Starbucks because I had that uncertainty on the inside, right? So I go to the Starbucks and I pull up and I'm like, okay.
Oh, he froze up. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all see me?
Person sitting down that looked like they weren't with anybody. Mm-hmm. But to me, I said, this is not the person on the picture. Wow. So I'm like, now ladies, don't get on me, right? But this is what y'all do. This is what throws us off. Mm-hmm. When you see some of these profile pictures, you see this. It's 6 feet in the air, all these aerial shots like satellites. So I'm like, what is going on? So you can't really, it's hard to kind of see what you see. So you just like, okay, they don't look like they were unattractive. So we're going to go from there. Right. I go into the place, Adam, and I tried to play it off and go up to the counter like I just wasn't there to meet somebody. So I went to the counter and got me. That's a trick that y'all need to keep, that trick. You go to the place, actually go and order something. I went and ordered. I said, give me a little Arnold Palmer. Okay, blah, blah, blah. I went up to the counter. Right. And then I was like, yeah, what else y'all have? And mind you, I'm doing like this. I'm scanning. So I said, let me do this. I pinged the person in the message. And I was like, be there in a sec. I was already there, but I said, be there in a sec. And the person was like, I looked, the person was like, okay. I saw her do this, right? And I'm looking, I'm like, oh, So I'm like, wait a minute. So Adam, I go over there to the person. I said, I'm not going to do that because she might recognize me because I was who I was. So I'm like, I'm going to go. I don't want her to be like, he walked out. So I went over there. I was like, hey, person's name was, let's just say the name was Emily. Actually, that was the girl's name. Her name was Emily. So I go over there to see the person.
You can't use real names.
I don't even. That was years ago. But anyway, I'm going to this place, man. I go into the place, Adam. I see the person, and she was like, "Hey," I said. Anyway, I tried to be an equal opportunity employer and not be judgmental, but this was not that. This was a lie. She was not who she was in the picture. So I said, you know what? I'm going to hit this right at the gut. I wasn't going to waste no time. I was like, hey. She was like, hey. So I sat down and I said, listen, I just got right to it. I said, this is not you, right? And she's like, huh? What do you mean? I said, nope. I said, this ain't you in this picture, right? And she's like, what do you mean? I said, this isn't you in this picture. I said, maybe some time ago, but not right now. And so she's going to say, I mean, I thought it was about what a person has to offer on the inside. But I said, well, I can't see that through a screen. Right. I can't see that through the screen. If I'm talking to you on the screen, I don't see all this care and affection. I just see what I see on the outside. So the person, so after that, I just said, and please, I said, please don't, I said, and I'm apologize for what I'm about to say to you. I said, well, don't take this personally. I said, but I came here under the understanding that you were this person.
Right.
This is not who's sitting before me. I said, so I don't want to continue this date. So I said, I don't even want to continue. I said, she said, you can't even sit here. I said, I don't drink coffee. Sorry. But anyway, so I didn't want to pretend because I saw her looking and I knew that it would be worse if I didn't just strip the Band-Aid off. It'd be worse to sit there and then she liking the conversation. Oh, no, that's it. Let's just get on up and let's just go. So that was that. So I'm only saying that to say this is what's happening out here in this world. That was years ago. So I know now folks is off the chain, but it's all kind of stuff out here happening. But the point is, I was like, no.
You couldn't sit with her for like 5
No, because guess why? Because she was deceitful. She lied about who she was.
I totally understand it because
that's all. That's the only reason why I couldn't sit there. There was no having no nothing because you weren't honest about who she was. I could see if she had been honest up front. Okay. If she had said this is an old picture, or even if she had confessed before we met and say, okay, I was interested in you, but this is not me on the picture. Please let me show you who I really am. Even if I might not have probably have win at that point. But nonetheless, she could have just been honest, right? And just said, this is who I am. That's that. But when I went there and saw the lie flat out, I was like, oh no.
So the picture was not who she was. The picture was
a perfect example. And I'm just being serious. The picture said the lady was like 5'7", 5'8". She looked like she could have been maybe 155, 150 on the picture. Because she's 5'7", 5'8". Everything looked fine, right? Okay. See the person, she was maybe probably 5'5"-ish. Every bit of probably 240, 250. It was total different. I'm not even being funny. It was total. It wasn't who she. That's why I was like, I'm not going to play this game and sit here because it's unnecessary. It's not even. We don't need to go through all that because I knew it wasn't going to be a good turnout to just sit there and deal with all of that. But this is what happened. People like to guilt you based off how they perceive your personality to feel like if I get you just to come here and hear me out, perhaps you would change your perspective. But I think the thing we have to be honest about is when people first decide to meet you, see you, or whatever, they have a reason based off of the interaction or your picture or whatever it is that they say to themselves, okay, I'll give this person a shot. So if you show up and do all these things, somebody said she had all the body, but it doesn't matter. They weren't regular. They weren't. What's that place? What's the auto car place? They weren't even advanced auto. They were truck parts. So it was different. But anyway, so it just wasn't good. I'm sorry. I know. No, listen, she just should have been honest, though. She just should have been honest. That's just flat out. I mean, I wouldn't have done.
You're absolutely
I don't
right.
want to waste my time, my gas, because I drove like 30 minutes at that time. So that's like a whole waste of time for you to lie. And it was a gamble. She was gambling to think, if I do this, perhaps he's going to change his mind and be like, oh, well, we can figure something out. Nope. I didn't even want to pretend. Let's just go ahead on from here. And let this. I was nice. I told her, nice to meet you, and I wish you success on what you're doing, but not today. But
wow.
Yes.
I mean, I think anybody who's ever been in the dating scene, particularly in this modern era of social media, you know, pictures and Instagram and Snapchat. You know, all of us can, at some point or another, I believe in our dating life and our dating history, have had that one person who was not who they said they were.
For sure.
Who did not represent themselves authentically as to who they really are. And I think even to some degree, we would have to admit ourselves that we have presented ourselves as something that we're not. Now, what I'm saying is this.
It may not be visual. It may not be visual.
Right, it may not necessarily be visual, or rather, like you said, the picture might have been maybe 10 years, 12 years old, which means you might have gained some weight. There might have been some physical changes that have taken place that aren't represented in terms of what you present the person that you're currently dating today. You know, and I think that's where we have to come and really have a real honest conversation with ourselves and with the people that we're dating, as to say, okay, this is what I used to be, this is who I am now. And really authentically present yourself for who you really are, because there's nothing worse than trying to start a relationship and you're being disingenuous. You're not authentic. You're not honest. Nobody wants to deal with a liar from the break. Come on, let's be true. I don't want to deal with somebody who's going to be, here's our word again, duplicitous with me at the very start of a potential relationship, because that means if you're lying now, guaranteed you're going to lie later. And you might be lying about something else that might be even more critical to the longevity of our relationship. So it's important that we are honest in terms of how we present ourselves. Yes, we will send our ambassadors. We're going to send our emissary. We're going to send our representative. We're going to try to put our best foot forward in terms of how we are perceived and how we want to be perceived. But when you outright lie and deceive someone in terms of trying to get them to believe that you're something that you're not, then what benefit is that to you?
Well, but you know what's sad is, honestly, this happens on both sides of the coin, and it's not just a look. Someone can look like their pictures and everything, right? But the misrepresentation part means those fine details that the other person assumed were already there were not there. And so as a result of it, you may look like the person, but those other supporting actors that make you the star you aren't in place.
Absolutely.
So you gotta, and so I mean, I'm sure women can sit here on this call and say all day long they have met men and be like, well, I got a summer place over here. I got, men, we got the famous I got, because in our minds, we're thinking the more we make you feel we are, we doing well, we're secure, this, that, and the other, the more that you'll kind of relax and be more apt to come forward and be like, we can do this. You understand what I'm saying? Until those things start to unravel and you say, wait a minute, didn't you say you had a penthouse? Well, I'm helping my mother because she's sick and she needed me to move in. So this is like a 1960s duplex? This is where you live with her? Well, I'm into restoring properties. You're like, you live with your mother. Just stop lying. You live in your mama's basement. To stop lying. But we do all of these things all day long, and it's just like, and let me tell a quick story.
Y'all ready for another story?
This is my son Josiah's mom, and hopefully she doesn't hear about this story. But anyway, no, because we're not in that place. We have a great relationship in terms of parenting. So she met this guy post her and I dealing. And I remember, when we're young and we immature, we just like, I'm here, bring my son, all this kind of stuff that we do with the whole baby mom and daddy whole thing. So I remember her pulling up with this guy you know, I had my car. Here we go, the Ego. He had his little white. I want to say back in them days it was an S550. He pulls up. We all like, yeah, all right, you know, doing all this competitive crap. And she just knew she was on top of the world because she was like, yeah, I moved from this position, but I'm still riding good. Like I'm still looking decent. You know how we think, right? So she's doing what she's doing. And so I'm like, do you, happy for you, whatever.
Right.
Do you know that she went on to have a child by this guy? She had a son by him. But here's the kicker. Only to find out later, in her dating him, she would always say, he always, when he would make promises about getting a place, he would always say, we're going to do this and we're going to get us this and this together. But she said he was always funny about talking about just her moving in with him. Like she just had her son. So she's just like, well, it was just us. Why not let's just move in and just make it simple. Come to find out, the guy, not only did he live with his mother, but guess whose car it was? The mother's. Ooh. So her entire image of what she thought was a lie. It was, but you know what's so deep about it? When she found the information out, she retracted so fast. See, women have this resilience. She didn't waste. It was like in her mind, she was like, you sold me a lie. Yeah. So to her, she said no. She quickly backed up out the whole thing and left the dude alone. She still got the kid by him, but that dude, he told her this whole story and he was not what she thought. And so it was just like lessons we learn in life, you know what I'm saying?
But that's the thing. If you start out with a lie, where do you think they go from that point? You can't start with a lie and end up with the truth. That's not the way this works.
Yes.
If you tell me a lie today, what makes me think that you're going to tell me the truth tomorrow? We are starting on a foundation that is not going to last. You're starting disingenuous. You are not authentically who you say that you are. You're presenting me with a picture that you want me to perceive and receive as truth. What the reality is, it's not truth. It's something that you have fabricated, something that you have simulated, something that has no basis in reality whatsoever. Why should I believe you? Why should I continue to follow you or believe anything that you say if you start out lying to me? You're not even giving me the benefit of the doubt in terms of being able to extend you some level of trust. Because at this point, you've told me and sold me a lie. Why should I buy that?
Man, listen. First of all, let me do a shout out to Sir Walter. Sir Walter's in the building. Hey, Sir Walter. Ab, you remember Walter, right? Walter was one of our radio show radio. I mean, he had another show on the same station that we were on. Appreciate you guys got to check out Walter. He's renowned. But anyway, make a long story short, really quick. The point I want to make is that all of us, to a degree, if we're honest, to some degree, I would probably say more men do this than women, but men more times than not will leave out details. And we leave out details, pertinent details, because we feel that if we come 100 grand, like you desire, 110, that somewhere along the line, either you or the influence of your circle is going to knock us out of contention. Because you know how women can be interested and they can like you, and based off what you shared with them, they're going to take that to their circle. Well, this is Adam, and he said he works so and so. He this, that, and the girl, what kind of car he drive? He blah blah blah. You know, they're going to go ahead and sing your praises. But if let's just say if you start saying, but he did tell me right now he's just living in a studio, but he's getting on his feet. He told me that right now he got to work 3 jobs because right now he got to pay his support for his baby and all this stuff. If he goes to telling the things, now mind you, he's being honest. He's not lying. He's just being 100. He's thinking if I tell all of that now, it's like he said he got to do what? Girl, bye. We ain't got time for no blah, blah, blah. I'm just making an example. That's how, that's what begins the cycle of, well, let me tell you what I want you to know. Feelings you'll either discover or I'll tell you what you need to know. Do you understand? So that's the
logic.
People are honest.
I get that part. Okay, so what I would say to that is this: when you start out in a relationship in terms of dating somebody, absolutely, there is preliminary information that is shared at the onset of the relationship. You do not share everything. When you first meet somebody, you do not make full disclosure of your whole entire life. There's no point in giving them your entire biography because of the fact of the matter is, you have to be able to trust this person. And the only way that you're going to be able to trust this person is to be able to experience time with them. Through the passage of time, I learn to trust you, you learn to trust me, which means I am going to, at some point in time, begin to disclose who I am. But you have to start out with the truth. You can't start out pretending and using your imagination to have somebody buy into this fabricated story, this fabricated fable that you've made up about yourself that has no basis in reality. I mean, come on, it has never worked. It has never worked. It's never worked. All I'm saying is this: listen, tell the truth from the beginning. You don't have to tell everything about yourself, but something that you say should absolutely resonate.
Should align
with who you are. And as we go along in this process of seeing if we are the one for one another, as we go along in that process, then I earn your trust, you earn my trust, and then we're able to freely give to one another the who we really are as people. Because now I trust you enough to handle the truth of who I really am. That's all I'm saying. All this other stuff we do, all this faking and I look like this and you catch me on Instagram and this is who I no. That's not that it ain't never worked that way.
Well, unfortunately, Adam, this is the reality of today. I know you're behind the veil, but listen, no, seriously, today, this is it. Like this, what we're saying is it. So really quickly, because I know we went on a whole tangent. What's good, Bruce? We went on a whole tangent, but let me circle now that we're at the top of the hour. Let me go back to the beginning of where I initially wanted to take this. First things first, really quick. In dating, I think something that we really don't take into consideration when I'm talking about dating in the 21st century and how things have evolved on such a crazy level. I think it's important for us to take a step back to say, okay, this is dating today and this is modernized dating, but where did all of these characteristics come from? Okay. And where I'm going with this, and the real quick, just y'all hang with me just for 1 second.
Here we go.
All of us have a nucleus. Men, we have the nucleus of Adam. Women have the nucleus of Eve, right? Don't take out your Bible, Adam. I see your face. So here we go. All right, I'm gonna paint a picture to y'all really quickly. I'm gonna paint a picture. Picture it like this. Adam was by himself, right? God, let's just say God saw him and say, I can't have dude I don't like his patterns. He just keeps walking around the yard. This might get a little pervy. So let me go ahead. He's looking at too many of the fruits. Let me go ahead on and
oh my God.
Someone to hang out with him, right? So he lets Adam take a nap, and then he said, let me do my magic while he sleeps. He makes Eve. Now, technically, next ride with me, Eve and Adam was the first date. Make a point. Just hold with me on this one.
Okay.
Adam received his instructions.
Okay.
God told him, all I told you to do is, Adam, when you go out here, the one thing I don't want you to do is stay away from this tree of blah, blah, blah. Don't eat of it.
Okay.
Do that. All you need to do is follow those instructions. You'll be all right. Adam's like, okay, all right, then fine. He left. He went to go pick up Eve because Eve wanted to hang out. She told him about this place called Club Eden, right? So she said, look, we're going to this day party at Club Eden. So they got together. They went to the little thing. They hanging out. So guess what? Like most women will do when you get to a designation, here goes Eve. I'll be right back. I need to go to the bathroom. Eve goes to the bathroom by herself, unattended, uncovered, right? She goes to the bathroom, and who does she run to that's always hanging by the bathroom, by close to the bar? She runs into Sir Slippery Snake Devil, right? He's sitting there, the pimp. He's sitting there, he's looking at her. Now, mind you, in his pimpness, he can already see her as she is. You'll get where I'm going with that. So he looks at her and he like, oh, shorty, you kind of thick, blah, blah, blah. So he gets to talking that flesh talk that gets to her mind. I'm painting a picture, Adam. I'm listening. Anyway, so he's looking at her. He's saying all this stuff. Then he starts to playing into her mind, into her things about how she's looked, her vanities and things like that. He convinces her. Let's take away the apple part, but let's say he says to her, hey, let me give you a little something that you can treat yourself with. And she, like most women, they're not going to deny no money, Adam. So anyway, let's just say he gave her some money. Check this out. He gave her some money. She was like, okay, well, thank you. She walks away. She comes back to Adam. Picture this. She didn't tell Adam, you hungry? He was like, yeah, I'm hungry. What you trying to do? Let's go down here by this lake because they got some seafood. They got crabs, they got shrimp, whatever. He go down there and guess who pays for it? Eve with the pimp's money. Adam took the food, right? His instruction was not to eat, but he went down there. Not only did he get manipulated, but he got manipulated on another dude's offering. You understand what I'm saying? Another dude offered him something, and just think of how crazy that is. And so the point I'm making with this, and I'm not going to pick on y'all women, just understand what I'm saying. We got to understand the point. The point is this. When God gave those instructions, the reason he gave them, because that was the first instruction of him telling Adam, listen, I need you to cover the woman. And you're covering her by if you're being obedient here, when she does what I already know she's going to do, you're going to say no and you'll obey my command, right? This is the first example of men fumbling the ball, right? We fumble the ball. We don't follow through like we're supposed to. We mess up. What happened with Eve is, hey, women can sometimes, if left uncovered and if manipulated by the right smooth talker, can take the bait. So what I took from that whole thing in the learning experience, because even though that happened to both of those species, he didn't mean for us to just be a wreck like we are today, right? The whole point of the word saying, dwell with the woman according to knowledge, is him telling you, based off of what happened in Eden. I need the man, in order for you to not experience what she's capable of, you have to first learn her. In order to not experience it. And the reason is so key that men pursue, because men pursuing a woman in their proper element that's the proper element of pursuit to a woman, if we're being honest, is courting, is purposeful dating. It's not just let me hang up with you and see what's what. And the reason it's encouraged for you to pursue her is because when a woman pursues a man, which then can be interpreted as manipulation. Because when a woman decides to pursue a man, it is saying, I am well versed enough to already know what you're going to do when I approach you. I know what I'm going to get out you. I know exactly how to play you. And that's not the walk that God intended for women to walk in. So this is why, as men, we have to be the forerunner in terms of making sure we guide it intentional as we need to. We keep it intentional. We keep it serious. We don't play the games like we do and all those things that. And so that brings us all the way forward to the point to say dating is fine. Dating in the 21st century is great, but you have to know each person. You got to be able to say, I'm a man, I'm capable of this. She's a woman, she's capable of that. So as you know that and put that in your backpack, then you develop the relationship and going on to try to see if you have the commonality, all those things like that on a normal scale. And so really quickly, what I put here to say that's step one from my perspective. This from my perspective. I'm going to say to repeat from my perspective. You got to ask yourself, number one, are you ready to date? That means what shape are you in mind and soul? We're not going to say body. No, everybody's not in the gym. Mind and soul, right? So number two, do you understand your subject? That means, do you have an idea of how to deal with the opposite sex adequately?
Okay. Okay.
Number 3, do you have an objective for dating? What's your end game or lack thereof? Is this, do you just want a situation? Do you want a friend with benefit? Do you just want somebody I can hang out with and travel overseas?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you dating with serious intention?
Okay.
That's number 1.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those are the top 3 things that we have to consider when we are out here doing what we do. Here's another one.
Uh-huh.
You had better have you have this in your notes, Adam, you're gonna get on me. But anyway, you have to have thick skin. To successfully date today, you gotta be thick skinned because people are exercising their full dating rights and exploring all options available. Perfect example. People will date you, hang out with you, they'll say they like you and all these things, but guess what? They'll be on 3 dating sites while dating you. Now you taking them all serious, drop them off at your mother's house and all these, oh, I want everybody to see this is my new friend right here. I really like you. And this person has not closed the door. You closed the door, but they haven't. They plastered everywhere. I'm still single. I'm this, that, and other. You see them, I thought we was trying to do this, but no, it's not for the faint of heart. So you better keep that in mind. Number 2, just like you go to your favorite car lot, you are meeting that person in as is condition.
Yeah, as is condition. Yeah.
No certifications, right? So this is where the big risk comes in. We don't know who we are entertaining. Okay. So we all know we show up to the dating field in as is condition, which is in most cases we have not done the work to be in a healthy position to date. Some of us are still hurt. Some of us are still not ready to settle. And some of us don't have unrealistic expectations. I was going to say something. I won't go into that. But anyway, there's social media. There's the distraction of social media. This is a huge one. And all of those apps and app outlets that wherever you can be contacted, it's like wherever you have a portal for someone to reach you, it can be a big distraction if you're trying to focus on a relationship. That's if you're trying to focus on a relationship. Like I just mentioned the online dating piece, about you gotta say to yourself, if I'm going to do this, you got to take a responsible approach to it. How long am I going to give myself to do this? What are my boundaries? I'm not letting somebody fly me out that I don't know. Just making up just things in general. But these are some of the things that come up to people's mind when you are trying to develop healthy guidelines of dating. We already talked about the representative. Yeah. Basically, it's your real life versus your online avatar. That's basically who you are that we see in the flesh, and then who are you that we see showing up online. Most times they're 2 different people. And this is why when you find someone who is an avid online person, and then you have a person to say, oh, I don't have social media, this is right here is a huge accident getting ready to happen. If you all aren't connected together with the real world and someone else is just left, although it may be peaceful for them to not be in the matrix, believe it. But if you are not on there and a person is, they can run circles around you because it's a whole different world there than where you are. So it's important to have the conversation to say, are we on that same page and wavelength with how we are approaching this? Because, are you comfortable with me? Because I'll be honest, most guys will tell you, if they're honest, if the ladies say, well, I don't have a profile. He's like, great. Nobody's going to bother you. Anyway, most men ain't going to complain on that. But it's smart to have it because I'm telling you, if you're not well aligned socially, you'll be left behind. Then I talk about this all the time, although we are guilty of it. It's hard to do, but sex is a major factor. And I am of the belief that if you come to the table to date, that means you're coming to the table, the field of dating. You're coming, when I say untouched, I don't mean virgin, you're not divorced or nothing like that. What I'm saying is once you say I'm on the market, you shouldn't be in nobody else's bed casually. That's an ideal world. If you're saying you're on the market, I'm not saying you don't do your own things, do you? I'm saying, but if you're announcing yourself as single and you're making yourself available, if you are in someone else's bed casually, it changes your approach to dating.
Yeah.
You're not as serious. You're very casual, laissez-faire, and it's not because you haven't found the person that you want yet. It's because one of the focal points about dating is if you're super laid back and relaxed because you are being satisfied, that person isn't getting a holistic, real picture of who you are, because they're getting a version of you that's and basically you got a leg up if the other person isn't doing the same thing.
Okay.
This is why people that are doing the same thing, when you meet two people that are doing them but claiming to be single, it's hard for the relationship to evolve on a serious level, because everybody has an outlet to go handle the stress, to handle taking the edge off, to pretend they're in a relationship while they're searching for a relationship. So that's the thing I think is the killer. And when I say sex, we shouldn't do it while dating. What I'm saying is you shouldn't do it before establishing what you really want from one another. Or if you're going to say we're exclusive, whatever. If you're just slanging to be slanging and it's just is what it is, it leaves room for that ever looming confusion to come up where you cannot get around. So what is this we're doing? Because to a woman or to a man, I mean, in both sides, because it may be a woman who's okay with it, and the man is like, well, I'm ready for you to take you home for dinner, meet my parents. And she's like, why we got to do all of that? I thought we was just having fun. And the guy's like, what? Like, I thought this was serious.
Wow.
But to the woman, she's so relaxed and her mind is somewhere else, or vice versa, that you'll be left in that sort of spinning wheel where you just don't really know what to do. You're just kind of like, I'm just here. I feel like I'm just existing. And then to me, one of the final, well, not the final of the show, but one of the main things that I really think that's messing the dating world up, from my opinion, is the lack of effort.
Okay.
Effort, people aren't given. Once upon a time, relationships seemed like they worked because people gave effort. You saw them saying, oh, you know what? I went and did this, and I made sure I was going to make it over here to get you this, or meet you over this on time and invite you to here and do these. I made plans and all these things to make the woman feel that he or she is engaged to what's happening. Nowadays, it's just like everyone has stop B, C, D, E, F on their bus route, that no one pays attention to stop A. Everyone is like, well, if this is either going to ride down here or let me know in time so I can get off and move accordingly. Nobody's taking it seriously. And so because we have so many options that we bounce around from mentally, even if we're not physically exercising them, we know in the back of our mind, some of us know we just one post away from a date on Friday. Post. All you need to do is post a picture and you look nice to that. Oh, what you doing about seeing you? And there you go. It's just that quick. And now the person you was dating is an afterthought, because now somebody else done flew into your inbox and now you're going out with this person. And so this is what we have to think about. Really quickly. One thing that I forgot to mention is these are some things that I think from my perspective that would be a good practice to keep the playing field level when you are dating. And that is, to the best of your ability, we don't always do this, but keep each other's house out the equation. Meet in the middle. Well, this is what I mean. When you start the house, like when somebody starts saying, oh, why can't we go to your house, but can I go to yours? If I can't go to yours, then there's going to be a problem. Because now what's happening is you're willing to practice on my home turf, but not yours. And so it begins to make the person feel like this is lopsided. That person is still keeping me in the safe space while I'm taking all the risks. And I'm only saying the house part because when the more people begin to give of themselves, the more they analyze what's not fair in the exchange. And they're beginning to add up and mount up the things they're doing versus the things you're not. Even when it comes to money. I mean, that's a 50-50 thing. Some people may see the money splurging or the spending on dates, who's treating, who's doing this. All people see that differently, but it is something that people will count up in the back of their mind. I have heard men say several times, well, if you knew we weren't going to be that serious, you could have told me $1,000 ago. All these expensive steak dinners. God. I'm just making an example. People will come back resentful because they feel like you could have stopped them a long time ago if you knew the date wasn't going to be serious. If you knew you weren't going to take it to that point, because it's nothing more offensive than you mentioning that and someone saying, well, I just thought we was just having fun. Well, guess what? We weren't going Dutch. You saw me pull out my credit card every time, but you didn't say nothing.
Right.
So, you know, we gotta think about keeping that thing at the 50-yard line so no one gets offended.
You might have some issues with that one, but I'm gonna come back to that one.
Go ahead. That's why I said it's a touchy one. I'm not saying because that's
a sensitive one. But let me just kind of backtrack over some of the stuff that you shared. I want to shout out to my dad, Bishop Darnell Leach, that's in the chat right now. Yeah, you was talking so much you ain't even see it, but that's my dad right there.
Oh, sorry.
That's right.
Yes. All the way from the DMV. All the way from the DMV. Yes. All right, Bishop. All the way from the DMV. All right.
So check this out real quick. So you said something that kind of like sparked my mind. I think it was one of your very first points, to be ready to date.
Yes.
Yeah. So to be ready to date, and I kind of want to expand upon this thought, is that, and I know you kind of dismissed it at the end, but I really kind of want to bring it back to this. I know we talked about it being something that you have to prepare for mentally, you have to prepare for it emotionally, and you certainly should be prepared for it financially. Okay.
Yes.
But let's not dismiss the physical aspect of dating, because the reality is that where the appeal and the attraction takes place, particularly for men, is going to be on the physical level.
Yes.
Okay. Let's not discount that.
Yes, for sure.
And here's the thing too. I'm not necessarily talking about looking good, but I'm actually talking about actually being good in terms of your health.
Yeah. Okay? Oh yeah, for sure.
Because a lot of times what we do is we discount that aspect of ourselves.
Of the physical part. You're absolutely right.
Get into a situation that we did not realize that we were not able to handle on a physical level, because we haven't taken care of ourselves physically.
Yeah.
And if we haven't taken care of ourselves physically, what's to say that we haven't taken care of ourselves emotionally? What is your emotional IQ? What is your emotional quotient? How much do you understand about your own emotions? And how does that equate with somebody else's emotions in the mix?
Well, you better be able to keep up. She's already left us. She done went somewhere else. She said you got to be able to keep up. No, that's real talk, though. That's real talk.
Because the older you get, the less likely you're going to be able to keep up if you have not kept up with your own personal health. But again, let's also bring that into the emotional aspect of who we are. Again, emotionally, if you have not dealt with past issues and past relationships, past emotional damage, past mental anguish, if you have not dealt with those things, I promise you, those past baggages will become present problems, which will paralyze you where you are, right where you're
good. Say it again, past baggage.
Past baggages will become present burdens that will paralyze you. And you won't be able to make any progress within your relationship, because all these things are literally anchors and weights holding up and hindering your progress in terms of making the relationship the best way, in terms of making it the best relationship it can possibly be. You know what I'm saying? And again, you have to address the issues of finances. Look, no romance, no finance, no romance. If you don't have enough dividends in your pocket, ain't no point of you even trying to think about going to some 5-star restaurant. You might as well take them to Applebee's, because you'll come out better on the financial end until you get yourself together, until you're actually prepared to be able to handle that on that particular level. I'm just saying, these are some things that we have to consider if you're going to get back into the dating pool, to make sure that you're prepared, okay, to get into that place and actually make progress.
Look at Walter said he's gonna ask Adam to be his new pastor. Don't tell him that. Don't tell him, Walter, please don't get that going. Then he'll have us all on here paying tithes. But anyway, so listen, Adam, what you said was.
I got one more thing.
Okay, go ahead.
I got one more thing. You were talking about effort, and I think again, this is something that again we look over. And I have always said, when we get into relationships, all of us, every last human being, has a tendency to push that autopilot button, and go into autopilot mode, where we make no effort to continue to engage the person that we have an interest in. After a while, that person that we have no longer made the effort to engage in will begin to think we're taking them for granted because we're no longer making the effort to engage them. But it's absolutely imperative, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't get anything out of this, that you do not push that autopilot button. I don't care how comfortable or how complacent you get, and you shouldn't be that comfortable and you shouldn't be that complacent. Do not push that autopilot button. Continue to make the effort. Continue to engage the one that you're interested in. And this is true not just before marriage, but absolutely after marriage, that we have to continue to engage and court the one that we're with so that they know that we're still interested in them. I love it when my wife comes and looks at me and desires me. Come on, brothers. No. I'm not going to let you. I'm not going to let you discount this. Because
go ahead. I'm only teasing. Go ahead, man. I'm only teasing.
There is nothing better than when your person, your woman, has interest in you. You want to talk about your ego, man.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And so you got to continue to keep that engagement active. Don't let it be passive. It has to remain active.
You know what I have learned, I have observed that all of this that you're saying is confirmation, because what I have observed is we are more committed to our end goals and our agendas than we are the healthy state. This is why I say, are you ready? Because if we are all grown people, we know when we recognize where we are deficient. We know the parts of us, hey, we know when we still hurt. We know we dealing with abandonment. We know we have thoughts of infidelity, somebody cheating on us, and if they will. But what we do is, because we are so tied to the end game, forget all of that. I know this exists, but that's what I want. But the point is, none of that, you will never get there broken.
That's right. You can.
Because guess what? When you choose to be in a relationship with somebody and you're so tied to the end game that you ignore where you are currently, what's going to happen is you are not only taking the risk of blending with someone, but now you are just putting your putting your whole situation in their hand, because guess what? The wrong person can take that deficiency and make a perfect gumbo with it and wear your mind out.
Oh my God, yeah.
Simply because you want to be here. You know you ain't ready to be here, but because you want to be here, let me just drag this on up out you, because you keep on wanting to be out here unhealed. So my point is, we got to be honest and take that honest. We all know that we want someone to love us, care for us, adorn us enough to make us a legitimate spouse or what have you, whatever your end game is. But in order to do those things, say to yourself, am I in my current state palatable for someone else to enjoy?
That's good.
Or will I make that person sick after taking me in? You have to say,
the reality is, if you still haven't dealt and resolved those past issues, 9 times out of 10, you're still wounded. And if you don't treat if you don't treat your wounds after a while, guess what happens? You get gangrene in that wound. You get an infection as a result of that wound. You get a fever from not having that wound treated properly, which means, watch this, you are becoming a toxic person with your open wounds, leaking all over the place, leaking pus and blood all over the place. You have not treated your wounds. And so now you walk into a new relationship with somebody who doesn't know you, and now all they know of you is the wounded you. They don't know the old you.
All
they know is the broken, damaged you. They don't know the person that should have been healed before they got into the relationship. And so it means that it requires that you do some work on you so that you can be better for number one, yourself, and number two, the next person.
Yes. No, that's real talk. And it's just like we have to say to ourselves, like that's why I said, just because if we were all sitting in a hospital, if we were all just sitting in the emergency room, we see everybody coming in that's interested in us. Oh, look at that person. They cute. Oh, wait. They on a stretcher. Let me go over there. What's wrong with you? I got some, I got this and I'm shot up 6 times. Whatever the case is, you see their situation right there. Yeah. Now we can't see the hospital view. We just see the real-time view out wherever we are, online, in person, whatever. And people are not disclosing the big obvious blood stains on their clothes, right? or the broken limbs, or the crippled states that some of us are in psychologically. We mask them behind a good haircut, a nice beard, a nice weave, and a whole makeup face beat. We hide it behind that in our shapes, and however we look, and we come out onto the field. I'm ready, but we're not. We are broken.
You're not ready. You're not ready.
This is why I can't get past any of the other things I said on this breakdown without getting past, are you ready?
Are you ready?
And people don't want to hear that, but you got to ask yourself, and you only got to say, am I ready? Because think about it. Even in what we all love so much, and we like to watch the Olympics and the track and field, they ask everybody, on your marks. Everybody that shows up at that line should be in shape to run this race. So they show up at the line. But like we see in most cases, somebody jumps, and guess what? You get disqualified.
Too early.
Because even though you're physically there, you disobeyed what was supposed to happen, and you fall off. But I mean, so the key is we have to ask ourselves, am I ready to run this race?
Again, I think we do everything else in terms of preparing ourselves for the next job. We go to college, we get our degrees. You know what I'm saying? Preparing yourself for whatever business that you want to start. But when it comes to relationships, we lack preparation. We don't prepare ourselves for the relationship that we ought to get in. And here's the thing, though, and it's interesting that you would use that Olympic track analogy, because again, the whole thing is when the referee says on your mark, again, you show up to that point, that starting point. There's also a thing where you can have a false start. Demetria Williams has just noted
false start.
A false start, which means you are premature, which means you are not
ready.
You're premature. You're ahead of the step. No. We don't need somebody ahead of the step. And watch this. We don't need somebody behind the step either. We need you right in sync with the rest of us. We need you in pace with the rest of us, in step with the rest of us, so we can make this journey together. You know what I'm saying? I'm not leaving you behind. You're not leaving me behind, but we're in sync with one another, and we're stepping at the same pace, at the same cadence, heading in the same direction. But that's another topic for another day.
Yes, and I'm just saying, if we don't do nothing else, we gotta be honest with ourselves, right? If you don't do nothing else, be honest with yourself to say, because the thing that we are all complaining about, and now we got all these titles out here, we calling everybody everything. We narcissists, you're gaslighters, everything in the book. We got all of these things where all of these things are born out of a field of people that are not ready. So it's like we are all out here doing everything we can, but we're not ready. And so at the end of the day, like I said earlier, when I took it all the way back to the end, one of the hope that we have to have as we are dealing with people that we are interested in is understanding the origin of one another. And so I say that to say, when it comes to, and I'm not picking on the men or the women, but I'm gonna say this. When it comes to women, we got to remember, Eve fell based off of what she heard. Adam fell based off of what he saw.
Okay.
So that means when I say what he saw Eve. When she rolled up on him, she was like, Adam, I got, he wasn't looking at the apple. He said, wait, what is this in front of me? He was distracted by her, what he saw. That's why he fell. To this very day, that is the thing that most of us men, we suffer from. We'll be focused. That's why that girl song "Focus on Me" is so key, right? Focus. Can you basically? She's saying, can you please focus your attention here? Okay. If he's focused to her, he has a better chance at being a good man to her.
Okay.
If she, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I'm gonna let you finish, and I'm gonna come behind you. Go ahead.
No, just forget it. I'm just. no, seriously. Just really quick. If he focuses, he has a better chance of being a good man to his woman.
Yeah.
The woman, if he covers her, and when I say cover, I don't mean watching somebody being insecure. Cover just means I'm giving her, to the best of my ability, those things that she feels she may lack to keep her from that spirit of feeling uncovered enough to be manipulated by the outside. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why it's key for us to be focused so that we can follow those instructions. Yes. That's why it tells the woman to follow him as he follows me. That he's trying to say, yeah, you can respect him and be a good woman to him when you see him being good as I taught him to be. Right? Okay. I'm saying, and so our job is to learn her enough that we could cover her correctly.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying? That's all. Go ahead, do what you're gonna do.
So
you want to preach. Go ahead, man.
Whatever. Anyway. Anyway. So here's the thing, and I think you've already said it, but let me make it very, very clear. So the focus, Adam's focus is not Eve, or should not be Eve, because this is the reason why we ended up in the situation that we're in. Yes. Adam's focus should have been the instruction giver, his creator, our God. That is Adam's focus. Because Adam lost focus off of the creator, off of God himself. This is the reason why he becomes distracted and disillusioned and confusion, because he's not paying attention to what he should be paying attention to.
Absolutely.
Okay. Absolutely. And so for Eve is distracted by, Slick Rick, the serpent. She's distracted by him in terms of what he has said to her. Okay. Yes. Did he really say? Making her question the authenticity of what Adam said to her, because Adam was supposed to relay to her from God the instructions. Do not eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and do not evil. That's it. But notice what Eve says, and I blame Adam for this. Eve says, when the serpent is questioning her about what this commandment is, Eve says, yes, we're not supposed to touch it. God never said don't touch it. He said don't eat of it.
Eat of it. That's it.
So what I'm seeing here is a miscommunication between Adam in terms of what was given to him originally and Eve in terms of what she received. So the enemy was able to get into that relationship, disrupt it with enough misinformation, to make Eve question and then doubt what has actually been given to her. But again, the responsibility is Adam to have focus on God, to listen to God, to correct Eve where she has said, no, don't touch that, don't eat that, don't take none of Slick Rick money. We're not going down to the seafood restaurant. We're going over to the chicken shack and we're going to get ourselves some fried chicken instead.
That ain't good enough. But anyway, so hey, what you just described, so is Adam the world's first simp? Did Eve simp Adam? She played him. That's what happened. I'm just playing. She said, you know what? He just said we can't touch the tree. We can eat. He was like, oh, all right then, because he's so distracted what he sees.
Adam was there the whole time. Adam was there the whole time that conversation was happening. And not once did he interrupt that conversation.
How many was distracted.
That shouldn't be taking place.
He was distracted.
He was completely distracted. But again, if his focus had been God in terms of what God had told him to do from the very beginning and told her exactly what the instructions were, then when the serpent and Slick Rick came up, there would have been no question in Eve's minds as to what was being said. Because there were clear lines of communication between Adam and Eve.
Correct. Listen. Anyway, Listen, people, we just want y'all. We hoping that you guys got something out of today. You know, earlier this week, someone had sent in a question because they were talking about how, you know, in short, they were a little discouraged because they were like, hey, you know, this is frustrating out here in this dating world. You got people who playing tricks. They are being scammers. They're not who they say they are. They want to talk to you but not FaceTime you, or they just want to connect with you to say, so we can meet up and link up and are we going to do this and that? And like, it's just like a sex only type thing. Right. So I get it. It can be very frustrating. I mean, the only way I think people can be successful in navigating this is be true to yourself and be honest. And like I had said in the response, when you step out into cyberland, however that looks, you are saying, I'm open to battling against these potential tricks because they're not going anywhere. When you say that you're going to step out here, whether you call yourself Facebook dating online, Facebook inboxes, dating sites, or whatever, you are saying, I'm open to the tricks. Right. I'm not saying you want to subscribe to them, but I'm open to navigating through them. Yeah. And so that's just a part of the life that we're dealing with. Now, you don't have to do anything. And if something feels like a trick, 9 times out of 10, it is. Somebody's telling you about some money that you don't know from over some country or continent somewhere. Someone is saying, oh, I don't have no phone. Can you help me with this? Oh, I can't do the, you know, nowadays people befriend you and try to FaceTime you immediately. Don't even know you. It's crazy. But so, you know, it's just all kind of stuff out here. You just have to be vigilant and you got to be safe. And as far as the sex part, I would just say this. Everybody's grown. So you got to govern your own turf accordingly. Okay. You know what you can handle. You know what's too much. You know what's inappropriate. You know what's not timely. You know what makes your standards feel came against or whatever. So if all that's what it is, if you are grown enough to handle it, then just do you. But if you feel as though, listen, I don't want to be this person that's saw as someone that's just to be some physical toy. Well, guess what? Don't go into the toy store. Right. Period. Stay out of it. Just kind of, that's the best way to kind of deal with that. And, you know, let that be there. Misty Bell says a woman is to be hidden in God so that the man has to seek God to know how to cover her. Okay. Your thoughts on that? Yeah. What's up? That's good. But yeah, you got to be careful out here today because the problem, Misty, is nobody's hidden. Everybody's on the timeline. So there ain't nobody. It's no more hidden. People like see me. Everybody out the whole 9, turn 360. Turn around. It's a whole new day. It's crazy, but we can get through it. Anybody can get through it. That if you put the hardest thing to fight when trying to get through this stuff is we are not only fighting the fact of being available enough or prepared enough to meet someone. It's you wanting to meet somebody, and it's you fighting against what you want in your mind. Like we have a list that we are looking for to align. So we're trying to get these things on this list checked off. So there's the check off list action happening, and then there's, oh, I like you, and can you do this list say, you understand what I'm saying? So all of this, there's too much going on. And so before you can get to the list, you got to say to yourself, do I even like you enough to say that I want to be in a serious scenario with you? I.e. exclusivity. The whole point of it is just to say, are we worth being exclusive and exploring further? If not, nice to meet you. And keep it moving. That's just it. Yeah. All right. You got anything else to say, Mr. Ford?
I mean, I think, I can't continue to reiterate this enough, is to prepare yourself. Yeah. If you are trying to get back into the dating scene, God bless you. I'm so glad I'm married. I'm so glad I'm married. Oh my God. Anyway, I digress. I'm just saying. My gosh. I encourage you, my brothers, my sisters, listen, prepare yourself. Yeah. And do not gloss over the flags that make themselves known to you. I think a lot of times we have a tendency, because like you said, Charles, we want what we want. And sometimes what we want is not what we need. It's just what we want. It's based on our desires, our appetites, our cravings, okay? And so you got to be able to resist that thing, man. You got to be able to turn that thing to the side. And the only way that you're going to be able to do that is to prepare yourself. Prepare yourself spiritually, prepare yourself mentally, prepare yourself physically, prepare yourself emotionally, prepare yourself financially. Okay? Do your work. Do the work.
Do the self-work. The self-work.
Absolutely. Do that self-work. That's not, if you need to go to therapy, absolutely. Go to therapy. Talk to a counselor. Deal with these past trauma, this past damage. Get it resolved so that when you get back out on the scene, you are healthy, you are whole, and you are able to engage with another healthy and whole person. You're not just offering them a piece of my love. Y'all know that song. Back not just a piece, the whole person on today. That's all I'm saying.
Oh man. And last but not least, I hear something in the atmosphere saying, but what's wrong with my relationship, and why isn't this person doing this? They're not texting me back in time. They're not calling me back in time. You know what it is? And I said it earlier this week. Convenience has killed effort. If you got questions about your relationship, what part of my relationship that am I providing convenience that it will not move? Period. Go from there, because effort's being choked out by convenience. That's why it's not moving. But anyway, all right, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in to Unique Perspectives Love Talk Radio. We will see you guys next week, same time, Thursday, 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, with another topic. We'll try our best to sift the wheat and get things great for you guys.
And share this broadcast.
Oh yes, like and share. We don't do that enough, like our counterparts. We don't do that. But please support, like, share. We're on YouTube too. We're trying. We coming from humble beginnings.
We're trying to build this. We're trying to build this brand, and we want to help as many people as we possibly can on as many platforms as we possibly can. So please, brothers and sisters, help us out. Give us your likes. Share us as much as you can with your family and friends. I guarantee you they will benefit from these conversations.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. And on that note, we're out. God bless everybody.
Peace,
Remember, let's continue to heal the world one heart at a time. We're out.